And welcome to the Town of Cedar Lake Board of Zoning Appeals, public meeting of May 8, 2025. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Here.
Mr. Hunley?
Present.
Mr. Jackson is absent. Mr. Burnham is absent. Mr. Capora?
Present.
Mr. Austin?
Present.
Mr. Conley is present. Mr. Kubiak is absent. Ms. Hyduk is present.
Okay, we have a five-man board with only three members, which gives us a quorum. But for anything to pass tonight, we all three have to vote yes on it. If you feel that you might have a better chance, if it doesn't look like, if you don't think you're going to get a good approval or what have you, if you feel like you want to wait for the other two board members to be present, you can request a deferral. And what that means is that it will be deferred until next month, so you'd have to come back next month and present your case again, or your request. Okay, minutes, April 10th, 2025. These had been distributed. Do we have any corrections to them? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of the April meeting.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Roddy, seconded by Mr. Hunley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Old business, 141 Partners, Neubauer. Variance of use, owner Michael Neubauer, 8913 West 142nd Place, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner, 141 Partners LLC, 8913 West 142nd Place, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 10702 West 141st Avenue, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Variance of use, extension of parcel, and recommendation to the town council. Name and address for the records, please.
Michael Neubauer, 2802 East 139th Avenue in Crown Point.
Okay, our reviews in order? Excuse me.
This matter's an old business matter. I don't think it's a public hearing tonight.
No. Well, you're just asking for an extension on it.
Oh, I'm just going by what's on the agenda. Okay.
There's nothing for that.
Okay, comments?
Happy to share any details or questions, but basically there's delays initially on my side with engineering, then some delays on the town side with change of management, and we're about 6 months behind schedule. To be totally honest, I honestly also did not realize that there was a 3-year time limit. I thought we were trying to get the building permits, and once we got permits, I thought we were in the clear until Mr. Conley gave me a call and said, we have something back from 2022 that was expiring, so kind of caught me off guard. I thought finally this spring we were in the clear, and now I'm back here, so looking for an extension to get everything finished there.
So you're ready to go?
Yeah, I mean, we're working, we're getting close to just, this came up out of nowhere when Mr. Conley took over and came in. I think he started going through things and saw, and luckily gave me a heads up that this was expiring before I realized.
How long of an extension is this for? 6 months, 12 months?
To be totally honest, initially it's a two-phase thing. So in the initial work sessions and everything, it was a 5-year plan for both phases, but that was all handled by my attorney. So when I saw there was 3 years, so for now I'm just looking, we'll just finish our phase 1 and looking for a 12-month extension to get that all taken care of.
Okay. Do I need
The original agreement
then?
was, as he stated before, the original agreement was 3 years that you gave him. And again, there were extenuating things that were involved in that and agreements that were made. And he's just trying to move forward. Again, when the agreements were made, it was an agricultural zoning in that area. And I think now, currently, the town changed it to B2. So that's where we're at. And he's had delays on his part, and he says we've had delays on our part. So however you want to do it, whether you want to he's asking, it seems reasonable, a 12-month extension, so.
Well, I don't see a problem, as I see the project completed.
Yeah, right now we got,
Yeah, Tim?
very close.
I guess I have a couple concerns just with looking through this folder and your proposal to use those front buildings as office space.
Okay.
Because everything that I read in here says you were approved for storage and storage only,
Yep.
and that was through the whole concept, you know, so
Yeah, well, I'll just speak to that for you. So,
Okay, yeah.
it was for storage, and then when this deal came up, everything got held off, so now we're losing a month. So I just looked at what was approved in the B2 zoning by right, and said, well, B2 zoning is by right in here. If we do these as offices, can we get these permits moving so I can keep the contractors? Because if I lose contractors for the month of May, I may lose them for all summer, because now they're tied up and they're gonna go take other jobs, so.
right,
That
I
was
mean,
the only
if you wish
clarification.
to, I mean, if you wish to completely change your plan, then you need to come back and change your plan. You can't just say, have B2 zoning, and now I'm gonna switch storage buildings to office buildings. I mean,
I'm not looking to change the whole plan. Those on the very initial were written down as office, and they were just gonna be basically kind of a high-end Class A professional office storage, whatever somebody wanted. So from the very first work session, that's what they were scouted as. And then when Michelle talked to me, she asked what they were, and I said, we'll use them as the storage. So I'm not changing the plan. Everything, from the very first moment I sat down here, 3 years ago, when we did it, those were labeled on there. They may even be labeled on office on the site plan, from the very first site plan that was
well,
submitted.
there's a
as
lot
well.
of stuff that's labeled office. I'm not gonna dispute that, but I got a lot of minutes here that I went through and looked at, and there was a couple times asked that this was all storage, and you said yes. And then there's a plan. I mean, I've kinda looked into this a lot because of the hearsay that, you know, there was gonna be rental office space in the front, and I wasn't apprised to that, and I can't find anything in here that, I mean, I know your new application for your new two front buildings says, right on it, it says, Class A self-storage / private office space. That's on your new application for these new two front buildings.
Well, I mean, that's the only application that.
I didn't see anything on your state release that shows office space, it just shows building shells for storage.
Can I answer as you go, so we
Yeah,
can
go ahead.
knock it up?
Yeah.
So the state release was for a shell building, to make
Okay.
sure we had it. Michelle said, that's great, but we need to know what your intended use is on our application. So I put on our intended use on there, submitted everything. I mean, like, I haven't changed one thing, like I said, from the original site plan was written there. Michelle said, we have a lot of communication here. The town may not let you do office. I said, then we'll just leave everything storage. And then all of a sudden now, when I had a conversation with you, you said those two front buildings may be used for something other than storage, so we can't allow that foundation to be used like the rest of the storage buildings. So
And
to be
again-
honest, it's not really 100% on me. From the very beginning, it's been stated. There's been a lot of changes, and even a conversation with you, you have to change the foundation.
And my conversation was that since you weren't building it the same method on a slab, where if you take out the storage component of the building, the building's gone, you know what I mean? So structurally, how you're building these buildings with the steel framing, you could essentially, the building would open itself up for, you know, possibly future, you know, whatever, other uses than only storage, and that was my point, but at no point do I see where anybody approved the use of storage. I mean,
Could I just ask, and maybe clarification from the attorney, but the variance would be for anything that is not permitted by right, correct? So if I have something that's permitted by right, and additionally I want storage on there, I need the variance for the storage buildings, but if the B2 zoning is 100% by right, what is the variance for on the two
Well,
front
you
buildings?
came here and presented a storage project, so that's what your right to do is. I mean, you came here and presented that you're building a U-Lock storage building with higher end storage, the front buildings look fancier, so it didn't look like a storage place. And now that's somehow morphing into office space, which that wasn't, I mean, like I said, reading through these, I wasn't a part of all this. I talked to several of the people that were on the board, and everybody, you were here, what was your take on it?
this started and it was presented to us, the front two buildings were supposed to be office. And I took it, the way they presented it, or the way I understood it when it was presented, was that it would be office for them, not rented out for whatever.
Yeah, and just for clarification, our full intention with, office is just a very nice, 15 by 15 cubicle, and it's for if somebody wants to store electronics or photos, or they work from home and they just need to get out of the house to go do a private call and they have a 15 by 15 office space. To do that, it's just a nicer option for there. So that's just, I'm just letting you know what our intention was from the beginning.
Yeah, that's not a problem, but that's not the way I understood it when it was brought here 3 years ago. Now, I'm going back 3 years. I don't remember everything verbatim or what have you. I have no problems with what you're saying, office of some sort up front of those two buildings. But if it isn't on the site plan as such, and that appears to be what Tim's telling us.
It is on site plan, it's from the very original.
Can I say something here? He's requesting an extension of a plan that's already been approved. It was just approved for 3 years, not a 4 or 5.
Correct.
So what he builds on there, we're not making any decisions here. All we're granting him is an extension of what he had.
Correct.
Now, if he's got to come in and change permits or whatever, or, whatever he's got to do, all we're granting is what he's got now, what was approved, we're giving him a 1-year extension. Now, all that other stuff, is between, I guess, the building department.
Well, and the reason for bringing it up here, Jerry, is that this is the board that approved this use, so.
And all we're doing, we're giving him a 1-year extension of what the board approved.
Right, so I'm.
No changes,
I'm
no
asking for
nothing.
clarification of what was approved by the same board who approved. I'm not trying to.
Well, me walking in here, I'm looking at his site plan. The two front buildings say office buildings. Now, if that was supposed to be for his private use, or if he was gonna rent them out to whatever, it's not stated on here, and I don't know what.
Okay, I have no further comments.
Yeah, in fairness, if it was an office just for our use, we wouldn't build two 8,000 square foot buildings just for one office of
Fine, that's, like I said, I have no problem with what your intent is. That's not the way I understood it, so that's all I'm saying is maybe it was me, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I understand.
don't know. But anyway, like Jerry said, we're here for, to decide whether we're gonna give you a year extension or not. That's the purpose of being here.
And
Okay.
this 1-year extension, is that a recommendation to the town council, and they gotta approve it? Because I don't know what the 2 steps are here.
It's for variance of use.
Yeah, it's variance of use, so it'd have to go to the town council.
We're not giving him a variance of use, we're giving him an extension on what he's already got. He's not,
Extension on the development.
You're not the deciding body though, Jerry, that's what.
well, that's what I'm saying, if we decide to give him a year extension, it's a recommendation to the town council.
Correct.
That's all,
Correct.
we're not granting him anything new, we're just giving him a 1-year extension on what was already approved at this board.
Or you're recommending it, and that'll ultimately be decided. That's
Right,
what
if
we'll
we
decide.
can't give him a 1-year extension, we're just recommending to the
Correct.
town council. So what all this other stuff is, I'm giving a 1-year extension on what's already been approved.
Right.
Now, clarification, what that is, I think that's gotta be through. the
Yeah, I'm happy to come in
building
for a meeting. I think getting hit with stuff standing up here is a little rough. I'd love to have a meeting with the attorney and the building department and planning department so we get this organized, figured out, because apparently there's just a misunderstanding. So maybe between now and the town council meeting, we could have a meeting and get all this ironed out, so
Yeah, that'd be
we
awesome.
can have it in person.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask the questions while this board was here, and you were here, just to see.
And if there's something that has to be adjusted on the site plan, then I think that needs to go back to the plan commission, correct?
No.
The site plan is exactly what's presented, that there's no question about that.
Okay. All right, then what we're gonna do here is we're gonna either approve or disapprove the 1-year extension. So if there's no further discussion, I'll take a motion.
I'll make a motion to grant a 1-year extension favorable recommendation to the town council.
Motion to send a favorable recommendation to the town council to extend the contract for 1 year, 12 months. And what's the dates gonna be on that? When does that expire?
He's within a couple of days.
May 12th is actually, it
Yeah.
May 12th?
Yeah.
So the extension would be to May 12th to 2026. And a second, a motion made by Mr. Riley, seconded by Mr. Hunley. No further discussion, roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes, motion carries, 3-0. Thank you.
I'd like to set up whenever you wanna come in.
Hey, let me know, man. Do you want me to send an email to Michelle, or who do you want?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Okay, new business, number 1,
To, first thing in the morning.
Jackalbeck?
Before you get going.
developmental variance.
Whatever works for you.
Owner petitioner Julian Edward Jackaldick,
Like next week.
12721 Klein Avenue in Unit 1, Cedar Lake, Indiana, vicinity of 13436 Cedar Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana.
7:38.
Petitioner is requesting a developmental variance to build a home on a lot that is approximately 4,144 square feet, 52.5 feet in width, 10 feet from front yard, 5 feet side yards, 22 feet rear yard to lake, 43.4% lot coverage, and 1 off-street parking. Name and address for the records, please.
I'm Edward Jacobek, 12721 Klein Avenue, Unit 1, Cedar Lake.
Okay, are legals in order?
Don't know yet, may proceed. Anything done should be contingent. I'm looking,
Okay, but I can go ahead?
you may.
Okay, thank you. State what you want to do.
We would like to have our variances approved so we could build a house on the lot with what's already been stated. One thing I would add is on the side yard setback, on the property adjacent to the existing house, which is another party, we actually took 2 feet out of the center of the original plan that we had approved prior to COVID, and so that allows us to move the house structure further away from that, so it actually, the house portion ends up being about 7 feet away, so we're pretty close to the 8-foot tolerance that you would expect without a variance. The other side is a lot that's family-owned, where we can create good distance between those 2 houses as well. So, we had a plan that was approved prior to COVID, and COVID hit, and costs went through the roof, and we kind of shelved it. Originally, our original plan was for a mother-in-law living with us, so the structure was larger. Since then, she's passed, so we've downsized and resubmitted. And so we're doing another survey, but really the footprint hasn't changed much. It's actually gotten a little smaller. And we did bump out towards the lake for aesthetics, but other than that, what we had approved prior to this is basically the same footprint.
Who approved that?
Cedar Lake.
2019, John, BZA approved it.
We did in 2019, I don't remember it. It's been a while though.
So you guys have the old plan. We haven't finished our drawing for the new plan. Like I said, the footprint hasn't really changed. It's actually gotten a little smaller.
Well, the drawings I'm looking at are not the drawings you're gonna build on?
No, that's our old plan. The drawing that you have. That's the plan that was approved.
That is?
What we, that's not even ours.
That's not even yours?
Sorry, I'm not used to doing this.
Well, mine's upside down.
Yeah.
What?
It's upside down.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is upside down.
Oh, boy.
Really hurt my eyes today.
So we were holding back on finalizing our new drawings, waiting to make sure that we still had the approval of the variances.
How many, is that a two-car garage or a one-car?
It's a two-car garage.
technically.
How many cars do you have?
They got approved.
3 at the moment.
They tore down the house.
We have a daughter that drives, so,
You're gonna have all 3 cars.
of course, yeah.
So you have 2 in the garage, 1 in front.
Well, there's,
Not, you'll get a chance.
Oh, I'm just the other half.
Yeah, you'll get a chance.
there's a driveway. I mean, we'd be.
Yeah, you're gonna put one in the driveway.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm going for, that's a pretty tight area over there. And what if you have guests? I'm sure you're gonna have,
We have a lot down the street that we use for parking. Actually, we allowed the town of Cedar Lake to put their sewer equipment on our lot, and we have that lot for overflow parking.
how far away from the house is it?
2 houses.
Okay, will you have a seat for a minute, and I'm gonna call for remonstrators. Do we have any, well, first of all, I don't know, there's quite a few people here. If there's a lot of you that wanna talk, I'm gonna try to keep this to 3-4 minutes per comment, so that everybody can say their speech and do what they wanna do. If there are any remonstrators for or against, please approach the lectern there and state your name and address for the records. Now's the time to do it.
My name is Nick Recupito. I reside at 14110 Cottage Grove Street in Cedar Lake. I'm here because I own property, our family cottage adjacent to this parcel, 13438 Dewey Street. And my first question I have is this considered a buildable lot for the zoning ordinance? What's the minimum requirement for a lot to be buildable in R2?
It meets within, it's not a legacy lot because the house was already demolished that was there, but it complies with the legacy lot criteria because that is the size of it, and that's what all the variances basically equal, which is similar to the variances he received previously on this parcel.
Okay.
So it does meet that requirement, and that's why he has the variances he has.
I have to make a correction to that. My understanding is legacy lots were only for lots, legacy lot zoning was only for lot parcels that had a home on them. This does not have a home on it. It has to follow R2 zoning, correct?
Correct.
Correct, okay. So.
Which is 8,000.
8,000? Okay. So I have concerns. We have property there in the subdivision. It's our family cottage. We plan on keeping that for generations. We've noticed changes in the subdivision over the years with not traffic, but with parking issues. I don't know these folks. I got nothing against them. I hope that the place wouldn't become a VRBO or Airbnb. We have problems in the subdivision with some of these short-term rentals. People can't get out of their driveways. People can't get to their homes. I have concerns with the conflicts that this development has with our comprehensive plan. As many of you know, I served on the BZA for 6 or 7 years. I was a vocal advocate for more room, more green space, more parking, less density. We live that. I don't live in Cedar Point Park on the other side, but when we're there, we live that. We live the ramifications of the density. Now, there's nothing you can do about our 100-year-old cottage. We bought property adjacent for parking, but you can avoid new problems. I have problems with parking. They're allowed 1 off-street parking. Here, you can't even park on the street. You can't even pass 2 vehicles on the street in the subdivision. So I have concerns with, and I know we don't set precedents here, but if we don't draw a line in the sand here, what stops it from happening, what stops us from doing it, what stops the neighbors from doing it? The stormwater's inadequate in the subdivision. for this type of development. Our comprehensive plan for lakefront residential really only allows for 35% lot coverage, including the driveway. I would imagine that this one is far north of 50% with the driveway. So I have concerns with what could happen here with all this concrete, and we have neighbors up on the hill by us that are having washouts. So I don't want to stop these folks from building, but I just don't see developments like this as good fits for a cottage-style subdivision. We have cottage residential in our comprehensive plan. I think it should follow that, or be scaled down. But, I'm sure that they're gonna be great neighbors, but they're probably not gonna own it forever, and you don't know what's gonna come next with different people that may purchase it and have 5 cars there, 6 people living with them. You never know. So I just asked the board to consider these concerns we have, because the folks, the neighbors around all have similar concerns. A lot of people don't have the courage to come up and speak, but, I hope my kids and grandkids will have this property, and I just don't want to see mistakes made that they're going to have to live with down the road. So I appreciate the opportunity. Let me speak.
Thanks, sir.
Tony, excuse me, apologize, I've got some laryngitis going on here. Tony Recupero, 13438 Dewey. Just want to give you a little background on how I ended up here. I also own the property across the street from this vacant lot. And before we bought the property, we're the type of people that do our due diligence, and you all know there's a lot of people that buy things and they see a fence or they see a tree line. Oh, that's my property line. We're not those type of people. So we do our due diligence. We look at what's around us. We look at what the zonings might allow for across the street, next door, whatever. We even had our property surveyed, which at the time, nobody up there had property surveyed. The surveyor we had, he had to go all the way out to Moore Street to find a monument to even start. Now granted, today, there's a whole lot more people that are surveying their property. But if you go out there, most of the property lines are either in the center of the street, or some of them, your property line is across the street. So the street's actually on your property. So the reason I bring that up is we do our due diligence. We look at what we're accepting by buying this property and what the town is offering us. And then you come in and then you have someone that has a vacant lot. Excuse me, my throat is so dry. You have a vacant lot, and you have someone that can build a smaller house there, but for them wanting to have a large house there, they're requiring 6 variances. Now, according to the way I read it, it says that one of the criteria for the developmental variance is that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance as amended from time to time will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. Nobody's up here telling these folks they can't use the property to build a house on it. Our thing is, you've got a row of houses already on Cedar. You come around the corner, there are literally some houses that the eaves are 3 feet apart. You have a house that they couldn't even drill the well on their property. They had to drill it across the street. So it is what it is, but all I'm saying now is you have a clean slate. You have a vacant lot, and no matter who wants to build there should be able to meet the criteria that's set forth by Cedar Lake. And to do that, all they have to do is build a smaller house. And parking's an issue too. We bought extra property, so we have parking. We have plenty of parking. And granted, some of the neighbors use it, which isn't a big deal, but that's what happens. If you don't take responsibility and have your own means and, do it the right way from the beginning, then you're gonna bounce on somebody else and you're gonna inconvenience them. They're gonna have to block off their property because they come home late at night and a couple cars are parked there, and you gotta go chase the people down. So I have to stress, this is a vacant lot. This isn't a cottage that needs to be added on, or where it's a clean slate. You could do it right. Just have them build a smaller house, get the off-street parking, get the side yard setbacks. You've got homes on Cedar where literally people, the neighbors could reach out their window and shake hands with their next door neighbor. That's ridiculous. If a house catches on fire, it's gonna be like the city of Chicago. You're gonna burn down the whole neighborhood. So that's basically all I have to say. And I really don't think the bottom line, it doesn't meet the requirements. Does not, I mean, nobody's telling them they can't build a house. It's just the size of the house. And I don't think for anybody, and you start doing that down on the lake, the second row's gonna start doing it, and the people behind, that subdivision's not made for big houses. Matter of fact, the HOA, at the end of the street's a dead end. The HOA had to pave that, so they had to pave on their part, so you can have a little bit of a bubble there for cars to turn around. So again, that's, it's all these little things that add up that, and you drive down the street, there's nowhere, someone coming the other way, you gotta pull on somebody's property, whatever. That is what it is. But again, this is a clean slate, vacant lot. There's no reason why this can't be built without all these variances.
Okay, thank you,
Thank
Tony.
you.
Bye.
Hi. My name is Amy Hack, and I reside at 13426 Dewey, which is just east and a little higher than this property. And my concern is that it's lakefront property. And zoning changes can obstruct the views and affect property values all around it, along with parking and congestion, as he has mentioned. It's a very small, it was built for small cottages. And it's difficult enough for the first responders to maneuver through our subdivision. These trucks are big, and as you said, it's a one-way street. I don't even know how they can get back around, the fire trucks and any first responders. So I think we should think about that before we start building big homes. So that's my safety concern. And then there's also a natural lay of the land, and I imagine that Cedar Lake, the town of, and maybe even the DNR did studies back in the day to see about the topology of the land of the lay, or lay of the land. I'm sorry, I'm not really good at public speaking. Sorry. And that's why we have the zoning board, and we should either uphold what is on the books or debate it, and not just give somebody a variance. We need to look at all the studies and see. I'm concerned about flooding. I'm concerned about our most precious asset is our lake, and all that drainage goes down there. And if we continue to build homes with concrete, it just is going to go into our lake. And we have to protect our fish and our birds and then enjoyment for every citizen of Cedar Lake. That's our lake. So I'm just here, and like I said, I'm all for progress and development in our community. I have no problem with that. I just want to make sure that we look at all the stats and studies and make sure that it's given consideration. It's a small neighborhood. We have one-way streets. My parents have problems getting to my house because it's a one-way street, and that's a one-way street. How are these fire trucks, we're just having more congestion, but there's no parking. I'm trying to build a little place for my golf cart because I'm limited to my parking. And so that's really what I have to say. I'm sorry, I'm coming up as a public speaker.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Terry Broadhurst, 2123 Arthur Avenue, representing 14513 Morris here in Cedar Lake. As I have been getting ready to approach building on an R2 stretch of land, and I remember all the times that I came in and was getting that information on R2 requirements. And I heard a little bit of something tonight that didn't match up with what I was told, and I just wanted to clarify whether what I was told was true or has it been changed. I was informed that R2 had to be 10,000 square foot property, and it had to have at least 80 foot of frontage. Now, that was told to me at least a year and a half back. So my question is that still?
I think you are right, Terry, because
Yeah.
when I said 8,000, that was what it was before. they changed it.
And I know we've given variances on this, but
You are
I just
correct.
wanted to
I
verify that.
understand
I think it was
that.
10, and then 15, and 100 foot of frontage for the R1.
Correct.
So if that helps you guys out tonight, thank you.
Thank you. We have any other comments?
Good evening. Andrew Schrader, 2 Cedarwood Drive, Watsika, Illinois. I live right next door to where they want to build. I welcome them coming into the neighborhood as well as everybody else. There's 2 questions. I just want to know that I'll be able to get into my side access of my house, where we go down to underneath to get to the water, the hot water heater, et cetera. And then everybody that keeps building houses now in the neighborhood, they keep getting closer and closer and closer. So where does the water go to?
What?
Where does the water go to?
Which water? From the
So off the house or where in between, they keep getting smaller and smaller. There was a house built about 3 months ago, and you can't even get through the side of the house, and you can touch the other house. I mean, you'd have to go like this to get through there.
Well, we're not gonna approve anything that's a foot or 2 foot off the property line.
Yeah, all I ask is that I can
Simple,
get
yeah.
into my house on the side to access the crawl space. That's all I ask. I welcome the people. I've known them. I sold their pontoon boat for their aunt. They're good people. I have no problem with that. I just wanna make sure I can access my house. As far as the parking and stuff goes, any given day, go down there. I mean, what the other lady said about the one-way street, some of the new houses that they built, I don't even know how the plow gets through, to do the plowing in the winter, because the houses keep coming up further and further and further. But the house that I have was an old-style cottage. We just rehabbed it and, kept it the same. I know other people have different plans. We have a house in Florida, and we have a house there. But, I mean, if they're asking for that, I mean, I'm just saying, it's getting a little bit tight down there, but some of these houses keep coming further and further out, so I guess what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I mean, we gotta stick to why these property lines were put in place in the past, and why they weren't followed, and why variances are put in place. Well, you can ask for certain things, but I mean, how much is, where do you stop at, I guess? That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Tim, don't we have a 14-foot deep, lift station there to pump the stormwater that we put in there when we did the roads?
Yeah, a mile away.
Okay.
I mean, it's clear, I mean, this is right on the lake, so the water will probably be directed more towards the lake than over there.
Yeah, this runs downhill right towards us.
Yeah, okay.
And, it'd be on their property too, because it rolls downhill. But the nice thing you did, Mr. Carhan, is you got all the, brush and all that stuff cleaned up down there.
Yeah,
I met you down there driving that day, so
Yeah.
it's starting to take shape.
Ted took care of that for me.
Yeah, but it looks good. And it's a friendly street, everybody gets along, everybody looks out for each other, so no one's trying to do anything devious. These folks up here, they live on top of the hill right from me. Everybody kind of looks out for each other, so there's no, deviance going on. It's just, where does it stop, and, how much further do you go?
Okay, any other comments? If you got a comment, come up here and state your name and address and...
Edward Jacobic, 1272.
Oh, you're the owners?
Yes.
All right, let me finish. There's no other comments? Okay, registration is closed. Okay, go ahead, what do you have to say?
First of all, neighbor Andrew, actually the structure that was there was about 5 feet away between the 2 houses. And with what we're proposing, there'll actually be about 9 or 10 feet between the house structure and his house.
Well, here's the problem is that we don't have your current site plan. But the
There
house
is
should-
a site plan that shows the footprint of,
we do not, sitting up here, have a current site plan showing the footprint of the house or what the setbacks are, front, back, rear.
I
and
submitted
side.
one.
Pardon?
I submitted a site plan.
That's fine. I'm just saying, I don't have.
It's on your
What you're
iPad.
what,
It's on your iPad.
Was this the new one or the old one?
There's an old one and a new one.
The plans are just old, but the site plan is.
Yeah.
which one is the,
There, that. I'm guessing that's the new.
all right, I stand corrected. There's a lot of drawings on here, and you stated that, the old plan or somebody did, so that's why I made that statement. Okay.
So this shows a 6-foot side yard on one side and a 6.5-foot side yard on the other side?
That's the old site plan, right?
I don't know, there's a million things.
He's looking at the legal.
Yeah.
It looked like your
If
surveyor.
that's the old one, I don't see a new one.
Right below it. The old one is the sketch from the architect. No, this is it here.
The only real difference between the two site plans is the offset, where we offsetted the house portion of the structure towards the vacant side, moving it away from the existing structure. I also like to add, I don't feel that we should be penalized for taking down the existing structures that were there. 2 of them were on dirt. They didn't even have foundations. The other one had falling apart cinder block foundation. There was no way, really, to add on to the existing structure. So we took 3 cottage lots and split them in half, subdivided that property to make larger lots, so we could put a larger structure on the lot. Our plan that was approved before used more of the lot. So we've downsized, shifted the house structure over. One of the questions in the variance application was, have you considered your neighbors? That's why we shifted that over. The property there is very level. There's hardly any change in grade. We used to sit in the old cottages and watch the rain, when it poured, run right between the houses and go right into the lake. I think that the structures not being there is detrimental because it's washing the hillside away. There's nothing in that spot on the lake to act as a buffer. So all the earth from the hill is washing down. We're actually going to have to take dirt out. So I think what we're doing, it's a good plan. We've gone back and reviewed what we were going to do and changed it to be more accommodating. As far as parking is concerned, we own 2 lots, 2 houses away, adjacent to the woman who left her property. We have ample parking. We actually have to shag people out of our parking so we can have parking. We've never had an issue with parking. We've always been respectful. We've never had to shag anyone out. These folks are on Dewey Street. Maybe that's up on the hill. It's a little different. Down on the lake, we've never had an issue with parking. We've always been able to park straight in. We've maintained the 10-foot setback from the street. We could even fit a car between the garage and the street and still have room for emergency vehicles to get by. So I don't see it as an issue.
You understand, we have to ask these questions.
No, I understand, but I'm explaining
Right.
what's actually going
Do
on
we have
down there.
application forms on this?
Is there application on here?
4 of them being up here tonight.
Yeah.
I can't find it because, I'm
Number
looking at,
13, 14, 15, 16 on your iPad.
Yeah.
Well, the site plan I have is dated
Well,
June 2020. So that's the old one. It's dated June 2020.
13, 14, 15.
I submitted a package with a new site
Those are
plan,
pictures
a
and,
new proposed, floor plan. It identified the perimeter of the property, the new structure. I know I submitted it. I talked with Terry on that, and, he actually filled out the variance paperwork with us. He told us he'd be including that in the,
yeah, it just isn't on this iPad, or at least I can't find it. So I'm not saying you didn't do it, I'm just saying, you know, because one of the things I look at is on that is there's a, third question on there says, what is the hardship if this is not granted, or what is the difficulty created for you? So what would the hardship be if we don't grant this variance?
well, the hardship would be, like other people who sat in the room. We've owned this property for 85 years. It's been in my wife's family for 85 years. We are original Cedar Lake people. My wife's grandfather bought original cottage. Then my mother-in-law saved her money and bought another cottage. And then we were lucky enough to get another one. Over the years, we've been accumulating these since forever. It's been in our family for 85 years. So the hardship would be, you're taking away from a family that actually lives in Cedar Lake, stays in Cedar Lake, enjoys Cedar Lake. We were not going to be a Airbnb or a rental, okay? It's a full-time family home for us. We've wanted to retire here since we started planning, since we were kids. I've been coming out here since I was 16 years old. So to say we don't know what these people's plans are, our plans are to live in Cedar Lake for the rest of our lives and be a part of the community, contribute to the community. We've always had a good relationship with Cedar Lake. We allowed them to put their sewer equipment on our property. I don't know what else to say. My wife's basically Cedar Lake native, probably before most people in here were here, so. It would have us, but, I mean, we've even submitted pictures of her grandfather standing in front of the original cottage that he bought.
Yeah, I see the picture.
So we are basically Cedar Lake natives. The hardship would be we'd be missing out on our retirement and our cottage. We want to start enjoying our cottage, our home again on the lake.
Well, don't say cottage, because this is no cottage.
Oh.
You know, call it a house, call it what it is. There's no cottage.
It was a cottage.
It was years ago, yes.
Yes, but our
No,
dream
this is a house.
is to live there full-time. Our daughter will get the house.
The house won't be sold.
It won't be sold. It's going to be family-owned.
That's not our intention. We're not house flippers.
Okay, you said something, the family owns the lot next to yours or something
Yes.
like that?
Right.
Yes. Yes, it's my aunt and uncle own the property right next door, which is also vacant. We demolished all the cottages at once. Unfortunately, my uncle passed away 2 weeks after the cottages were demolished. And then my aunt had a massive stroke. So there's been a series of events that have stopped us from building our dream house. But my cousin, Tony, and his brother and sister do plan on building a home there, a full-time home. So that's our plan, that's our dream.
Would you consider a smaller downsizing house?
We have downsized.
I
tried. The problem that we had was, we thought, okay, let's do a single story, right? 2 bedrooms. When we put 2 bedrooms in there and a kitchen and a family room, it gets tight. So we thought, okay, we'll go up. when you put a second story on, it gets too big. And the previous plan that was approved before, it was bigger. And, you know, it's kind of blessing in disguise that her mom passed and we shelved it, because then we were able to review it, and we took 2 feet out of the middle, which allowed us to shift over, which allowed us to gain more space on Andrew's side, the adjacent property where there's a home. And, you know, we thought that that was our due diligence of, you know, we're not gonna build it out to the lot lines. The structure that would be there would actually, it would be further away from what was there before. There would actually be more space between Andrew's cottage and our home, so he won't have any problem getting into his crawl. And we also know that the adjacent lot, which is the other half of the subdivided property that our other family members plan to build on, will have a significant buffer there. And on the other side of their lot is the Zimmerman home, and there's actually an extra 15 feet of lot there. So there's plenty of space between these homes in this area, a lot more space in between these homes compared to the house that the gentleman referenced where you could reach out and shake the neighbor's hand. I watched that house go up. I watched the driveway apron go to within 3 feet of the street, and then I go to the village and I'm told, no, you need to stay 10 feet from the street. I wanted to go a little closer to the street, but 10 feet, I get it. So we maintain the 10 feet from the street. That's a pretty significant buffer from the street compared to the precedence that's been set all up and down the street and all around the lake, for that matter. I've watched people build helicopter pads. I've watched people bring their driveway aprons 3 feet from the street. So I honestly think that what we're requesting is pretty much within the parameters of what's being approved, and I think we're this is kind of a compromise, I think.
Is this, are you gonna have 6-foot, side yards between your house and the property line? Is that gonna be 6 foot?
It's gonna be 5 feet.
Not according to the survey that you provided. Okay, the newer survey.
Okay.
So, it looks like you're at 6 foot because the original architect, which is the smaller one, sketch, that's what we based everything off of, and then you provided this document later, you were working on it, because I told you you're gonna need it for your house anyway to get it done. You'd have to have that survey. But he actually repositioned it, you're actually 10.8 and 11.5, so instead of having a square and having a pinch point down there, he made it more consistent, so you're 6 foot front and back on both sides.
Then that's the case. And we are working on getting an updated survey. I don't anticipate it changing, but unfortunately, our person who had done our survey has passed away. So we are now working with another survey company, and we should have a new current survey, but I don't think it's going to change much, because this is just a 4-year-old survey, and everything was dotted and crossed, and it is what it is. It's not going to change. So, the only other thing I'd like to add, you know, there was something I guess you should notice maybe is that it's not exactly a rectangular lot. It's actually a little bit of a pie-shaped lot, because there's a little bit of a bend there. So, I think closer to the lake's a little tighter, and closer to the street's a little wider. But the way we designed this, we went parallel to the inside line, to the vacant lot side. So as the house goes towards the lake, it would actually be getting further away from Andrew's house.
This survey I'm looking at over here, the surveyor's license expired in 2020, so it's gotta be an old survey. So this footprint on here can't be the house you're gonna build.
I don't know what you're looking at.
That's the document he's looking at.
That's the old one.
Yeah, that's the old survey.
Okay.
Yeah.
We don't have a new one.
No, we had the.
Do you have the
handwritten
architect sketch up above? And again, the same things that he did, that the, engineer did on the other one, they kept it more square. He actually could rotate it a little bit and maybe get you the 6 foot on all sides. So, that is a possibility.
If we're using that sketch,
The sketch is on top of it, right above it.
if I'm reading this right, the side yards are less than 6 feet now.
That's the architect, he's not a,
5.38.
he did it as best he could on,
Well-
and that's what we based it on. And again, the footprint is, again, if they wanted to build on a legacy lot, they have to do it by variance.
Right.
Okay, and it actually states
Right,
that.
right.
Because they weren't able to build it when they did tear it down, but they can come in per variance. They do fit the criteria of a legacy lot, and they're coming in by variance. And that's what it says in the,
Well, he keeps saying he's giving us a bigger setback, well, his his architect's hand drawing is giving us less.
Right, his survey showing 6 feet.
Right, the survey shows 6,
Right.
but the handheld drawing is less than 6.
but it's still greater than 5, which is what a legacy lot requires.
Well, that's where I'm concerned with, there are legacy lots when there's cottages on them.
Right.
Well, you tear them down, they're empty lots, they're lots now.
So there was no way you were gonna add on to a cottage with a dirt floor.
I didn't say you were, I'm just saying.
So that kind of defeats the purpose of a legacy lot, if you're gonna add on to a cottage that
Well,
is on dirt.
The rules say that you have to rebuild within 6 months of the tearing it down.
And what happened, we tore the house down, and then the person, one of the main persons died then, and then COVID hit. So we shelved it. Costs went through the roof. And then we lost the other 2 matriarchs of the family. So now we're down to the 50-somethings. So that's where we're at.
I mean, and I think Terry stated it properly, I mean, these guys were on track to use that legacy lot zoning that we did put in place for these type of lots, and they do meet the parameters of those for lot coverage, for setbacks, for everything. So, I mean, realistically, I mean, they, other than them happening what happened to them, they met, if they would've came in here today and got a demo permit and tore down those cottages and applied for this permit, they would've walked out of here without coming here or anything. So now that that time has lapsed, they're coming here and they're asking for that same consideration, I guess, due to their circumstances, which I can remember telling your dad back, I don't even know how many years ago it was, but I'm like, don't tear down houses.
Yes,
And then
you
they
did,
did.
and then
I mean,
you
I
did.
tried advising them of that because of the situation. They had, I mean, I know the whole family had, I mean, I consulted your dad several times back, it had to be 4, 5, 6, I don't even know how many years ago.
Yeah, you did tell me
But
that.
he told me their plan and, all of that stuff, but I mean, I guess the situation is that they really, I mean, realistically, all of these criteria are in that for these lots, but their circumstances didn't allow them to.
This
tear
meets
down
all the
because
criteria?
Every one of these meets that criteria for, like I said, if they came in and said, hey, we're gonna tear this stuff down, here's what we're putting up, they meet it. So, I mean, that's just something to consider, I guess, but I get it, and I know it's a lot for a lot of the area, but that 4,500 square foot or 4,144 square feet of lot, if you think they still have 6-foot side yards, they have the 10-foot setback. I know Terry had in here the parking, but they actually have 4 off-street parking spaces, and
If they go,
and they still have a
Right.
400 square foot garage. I mean, so, the rules say they have to have at least a 200 square foot garage. They got a 2-car garage, they got they have at least 4 spots on 2 spots on their driveway and 2 spots in front of the house to still park.
Plus, we have property 2 houses away.
I mean,
This sketch we have here satisfies the site plan?
per legacy lots, yeah.
And again, there's been a lot of talk about, I don't know what's going on with you guys in the new site plan or old site plan. What I'm looking at here, I mean, I'm seeing 6-foot side yards, and I'm seeing a 2-car garage. I'm seeing the 10-foot setback, 10.8 foot in the front, and the garage space is there. I mean, everything is
On the old site plan.
but there's 2 here.
Well, the one's a hand sketch, it's not a site plan.
Well,
It's a
and
hand
I mean, I
sketch.
clicked on 2 different surveys, and I got the same, so I don't know where the new one is. I wish I had the one that he
I don't know.
says he just turned in.
Do we have it?
We have just what the architect
Well, that's not
had.
a new site
Right.
Sketch from the
We're,
That's what
we're,
we
you know,
That's
we
where,
contacted
that's our
him.
sticking point, because we really don't have
He did the best he
footprint
could,
of the
actually,
new
pretty
house
good.
on a site plan. We have his sketch, which, you know, is probably pretty close, but it's not exact.
And they're both contradicting, because they say 5.2.
Right, that's what I'm saying, there,
5.3.
so we, you know, he stated here, he was giving us more, and then we're looking at his hand sketch, and it's giving us less.
It's not his hand sketch.
Well, I mean, no,
The
your
architect.
architect. That's what I'm saying, he's saying, you know, you guys are saying, well, we're giving you a little bit more, well, his hand sketch says, no, you're not.
The reason that it happens like that is because when we were told that a legacy setback was 5 feet, we realized that we would be able to shift the house portion of the structure over to that 5-foot setback and create more space on the other side. We took 2 feet out of the center of the house and shifted everything to that 5-foot line, creating the 7 feet on the other side.
And I wish it
So
would've
there
said,
is more space.
I wish it would've said that, but on both sides of the house, it's less than 6 on his drawing.
The garage portion of the house.
No, I'm talking about the house.
No, you're not.
Well,
I don't know what you're looking
It doesn't
at.
show the 7 though, Jerry. It shows just offsetting the garage.
There's a 2'6" offset of the garage and the house, which pulls the whole home structure further away from the adjacent neighbor.
Come here, Tim, and show me on this hand drawing.
See
What
the
what I'm
offset
missing.
on the left?
It's
on the
just
left
a little
side?
bump.
Show me.
I'm
What I'm missing.
If you look on the left, you can see it. There's no.
You are getting a new survey, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
But I'm not, I would like to know if I'm gonna have the variances before I go and spend the money to do the drawing again.
7'6".
And what, this is the
And
house.
only to be,
So, the garage is still 5 feet, and
Correct.
this house is 5
Yes,
feet. So they have, I don't care if it's a garage or a house, they're
Right.
both 5 feet off the lot.
Which is,
Now, if they was,
but which is in compliance with the legacy lot, which they can apply.
and honestly, that is the reason
That is,
how that
that
happens.
is in the requirement for a legacy lot. And again, if he would've just come in here, like you said, like Tim said, he wouldn't have even had to come to you at all, because he meets the requirement, if the timing would've been better for him.
Yeah, but that's not, we're not really arguing whether we're gonna grant it or not, per se here. We're trying to get clarification on what's presented to us.
Right.
And what's presented to us doesn't jive. The certified surveyor that we have in here, the guy who certified it, the surveyor, license expired in June of 2020. So we know that's not current.
Right, he
He
passed
passed
away.
away.
It's still June of 2020.
Right.
I don't care if he's sitting next to you, it's still, so this survey tells me it's not current. I'm not saying it's not good.
But their
It's not
request
current.
was for a 5-foot setback on each side as presented, you know what I mean? That's what they asked for.
Yeah, well, we have confusion, so we got a sketch showing one thing, and we have a survey showing the other thing. And we, you know, if we're confused, how can we say, yeah, go ahead and do it? And then you put something up, I go there and they got the Taj Mahal.
Well, I don't think I would be able to build anything without submitting the plans for permit at that point, correct?
That's correct, because you're
Right.
gonna go see them.
So all I'm asking for is the variances, which allows me to
And what
do
I'm
the drawing.
asking for is to see where the footprint of your house on the survey, current survey, or a site plan. That's all I'm gonna say, so I know what we're talking about. You're telling us 7 foot, one shows 5 foot, another one shows less than 7.
If you will look at the site plan, the sketch.
it's not a site plan. That's a proposed site plan.
Correct.
Okay, don't say it's a site plan, it's a hand sketch somebody did. It's not a survey site plan, and that's what we're asking for. If you want what you're asking for, we want an updated site plan. That is correct, not hand-drawn.
It's exactly like the one
I'm not
Already
saying,
approved.
you already approved.
But we came in here and went all the way to permit, and then everything fell apart. You guys, everything was approved. We got the email from Michelle Baker with the amount, this is what you have to pay when you come in and pick up the permit.
We're not opposed, I mean, of course, we're gonna get another
Right.
survey. We're not trying to pull the fast one, we're actually trying to be accommodating. So, and the house structure is moving away from the neighbor's house a little more. The grade's flat, we even changed the roof structure so we could divert the water away from him. So, I don't,
We're not arguing any of that. We're just saying we don't have the proper data. That's all we're saying. We can't make a decision if we don't have the proper data.
Last time we came in for the variance hearing, we didn't need the survey came after.
well, I don't see how that happened.
It
Because
did.
how do they know? Well, it shouldn't. Because,
did.
because that shows the exact plan and where the house is sitting on the lot.
We granted the variances and we went ahead with the plans.
Well, that was the BZA back then.
Okay,
So,
okay, we're getting no place fast here. So, Tim, yes.
I just have one comment. I mean, I guess in the past, there's been a lot of people that come in for numbers, sketches without, I mean, the building department's job and the planning department's job is to say that there was a side yard variance of 5 feet granted, a front yard variance of 10 feet, whatever the numbers are. When that site plan is turned in for the permit, we, as in Terry, myself, Michelle, we all review that professional site plan at the permitting process to assure that what you guys approve for those numbers that are granted, whether they be 5'2", 4'3", 7 foot, you know, whatever they are, we verify those numbers at a minimum are met on that whole plan before we issue the permit. So there's no, I mean, there's no like saying that this drawing says 5.38 and next time it says 5.65 or 5.25, and if you say you approve it at 5.38 and his site plan shows 5.37, it's not gonna be approved because your guys' approval numbers or like it's advertised, the 5 foot, as most of these are granted as presented or as asked for unless something happens during the process, but all of those technical things are checked on issuance of the building permit, just for your guys' peace of mind. Like, I get it, and a lot of people don't, you know, I don't know, I mean, cost is cost, but a lot of these people come and ask for things that they may not get, or they pay, you know, if he pays $1,500 to get a new site plan done, and you guys say, you know what, we want to scoot the house over 2 feet, then they gotta pay another $1,500 to get another site plan done, so some of that gets to be, you know, but ultimately, you know, like they talked to Terry and asked for a 5-foot side yards, 22 feet
and honestly, we
rear yard.
didn't even ask
All right,
for
so what the numbers that we're gonna deal with tonight is what he's requesting here. It's 4,144 square feet, which is 52.5 feet in width, 10-foot front yard, 5 feet side yards, at least, minimum.
Right.
Minimum 5 feet. It says 5.25, 1.86, something on another one, so minimum 5 feet. And 22-foot rear yard to the lake. And this gives us 43% coverage. I know these small legacy lots, you get big coverage on it.
Yeah, you could go up to 50%, yeah.
They have adequate parking with the 2-car garage and 2 cars they can put in the garage. Correct? Okay, I'm just stating the facts as we see them right now. They do have if they're gonna have everybody over for Thanksgiving, they got a lot, 2 houses down or something, where they can park the cars, so they're not blocking the street.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Am I correct in what I stated?
Of course.
Okay. Those are the facts.
What's the height in the legacy lot?
I think we've had enough discussion on this. I think it's time, what do you guys think? Time to make a decision?
We didn't ask. I'd like to have the whole board here.
Yeah, I think that if you go by the legacy rules for everything else, that their height is definitely, is more than, is 29?
Yeah, 28, I think it is.
28, 'cause, yeah, the legacy lot standards is only 25, unfortunately, but, I mean, that would definitely be.
So now they got too much height?
So they are R2, this is the thing, whatever.
Yeah, but you can't.
I know.
They're not R2. Parts of R2, parts of R1, and parts of legacy,
That's what
we're
makes
using one or the other.
That's what makes it hard to do that.
Well, we actually went down. We were at 30 feet on the plan that was approved.
Right, but if you're gonna go for.
But you're still too high.
Stuff, you can't.
But it was
go all or
approved.
nothing.
So do we have a height on that? Tim, did you see
It
that
looks
on
like
there?
29 feet, I noticed that from the or 28, I mean, there's a line on here that shows 29 feet, but then that's it, not even anything from the driveway, but yeah, it's 20. What I see, I don't have a good, I have an upside down plan I'm looking at here that just has a number on it, so. It does show. Yeah.
It shows it on there?
Shows like a foot above the roof. So.
Yeah.
28. So that's an issue for using the legacy lot standards, which we've been trying to, I've been trying to use just because of your situation, because obviously it meets all that criteria, but your overall height, your height maximum is 25 feet in that legacy lot district. Legacy lot zoning, legacy lot criteria, which is a crappy thing for your house, I guess, but. And that thing is, this plan is correct now, or wrong, or since you made it smaller, did it matter, or no?
I don't even know what you're asking me right now.
Here's what I think. Here's what I think. This needs a lot of cleaning up. We've got confusion, we've got we've got a proposed site plan and a certified survey that's, probably from 2020 or 2019. We got height questions, legacy and R2 and that. I think that if we take and if they request a deferral and get everything squared away, get it the proper information, get everything right, and come back, next month, we should have a full board, 5 of us, and, put it out there and just clean it up for us, so we understand it a little better. You know, we don't wanna make a bad decision. Either say, no, you can't have it, or say, yes, you can, and then find out that it's totally wrong. So I think that would be the wisest thing to do at this point. Now, I don't, what do you think? You could say no, put it to a vote right now.
It doesn't matter what I think, so I guess we'll defer.
I guess that.
Wait a minute. It's just on. Are you requesting a deferral?
Yeah.
Can I have a motion for deferral?
Motion to defer to the next month meeting?
Would it be a continuation of the public hearing?
We'll have a continuation of the public hearing too.
John, the legals are in order. The record should reflect the legals are in order.
Okay, thank you.
No new advertising for what is before you is required.
So guys, what I want to explain, and the reason why the height wasn't on there, was because it is zoned R2. And all I did from R2 with the variances is that's why we're asking for the variances to go back to a legacy lot prototype, which that's what it says when you tear a building down, you have to appeal by variance. So the only thing from R2 The reason why that wasn't listed is because it does show R2. These are the changes, only the changes to bring it back to legacy lot. So the height would have been good under R2 at 30. So he only made that appeal post-notification again.
So that's my problem?
It's okay.
This is you. Let's go.
Thank you.
Okay, I got a motion to defer to next month, made by Mr. Riley, seconded by Mr. Hunley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Capora?
Yes, I defer to next month.
Yeah, that seems good.
Number 2, developmental variance, owner petitioner Kurt Rutz, 12737 Lee Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Vicinity of 12737 Lee Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting to build a 6-foot dog ear fence privacy in the southern part of the front yard and along the south side of the lot, connecting to chain link fence in the rear of the property. Name and address, please.
Kurt Rutz, 12737 Lee Street, Cedar Lake.
Are the legals in order?
Legal's in order.
Thank you. Give us an idea what you want to do.
So my property sits literally on the back of my property line, my house. You step out of my backyard, I have maybe 3 feet to my property line. I have all side yard and front yard. I have 2 little kids, people drive down the road, sometimes recklessly, my son loves running into that tree. Honestly, I just want to have a fence that I can utilize my property, and I noticed that in the variant, or in the book, it states that I could be eligible for 6 feet off the right-of-way, which would be the street, and then 6 feet off the other side of the property line. So I just want to be able to utilize that space of my yard, my property, to accommodate, my kids to be able to play, my nieces, my nephews, and actually have a yard that I could call a yard and not a yard that I walk into the backyard and I'm standing on my property line. And if I were to fence it off from the house, like it states I'm allowed to without a variance, my yard would only be like 30 by 20 feet, and that's no room to play for kids.
Is this off of Vermillion?
Yes, sir.
How do you get in there?
Yes, sir. And then I noticed...
It says close to Vermillion?
Yeah, within an eighth of a mile, maybe, not even.
You're in like the middle of the block on
Yes,
Lee
sir.
Street.
Yeah, and then if you know, I don't know if any of this is relevant, but if you notice, the neighbor next to me, their fence is to the street, even far closer than 6 feet. The neighbor across the street, kitty corner, their backyard, they have a 6-foot fence and it's close to the street. My property actually expands right where my fence wants to go into a 2-lane. Theirs is a 1-way, so it's tight already back there. I shouldn't be obstructing much in my area because it actually, right where my fence has to go or wants to go, it expands into a 2-lane road. And then I want to take 6 feet, so, I could even, worst case scenario, come back more than 6 feet. I would just like to be able to utilize my property. That's just my biggest thing, is just trying to utilize the most for my kids to be able to play.
Can I have a seat, please? I'll call for administrators.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Angie Michaelachuk, 12806 Lee Court. This is a new neighbor across the street. I'm in the southwest, across the street, southwest of him, and I'm in favor of his fence. And I just wanted to let you know that I think it's a great idea. Like he said, he has no room in his backyard, maybe 6 feet. And the children, he has small children that need some playing area. He has a nice swing set and stuff that I think that it would be really nice. I don't think it would be any sort of hindrance to our neighborhood. The only question that I was concerned is, I don't know if that's the GIS, but if you expand it, the road kind of goes to the right because it's actually not, it's a cul-de-sac. So if you exit the cul-de-sac, if that fence is back like it shows, I don't think there'll be any visual problems. But if it was to the road, than there may be from people that are going up the hill.
Yeah, there's a tree line actually between his property and the next one in there.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, well, yeah, it looks like he's pulling the fence out, yeah.
Oops, well, the trees look like it's on would be the south side of the fence. That's my guess. The trees are not coming out.
No, sir, I don't
Yeah,
wanna mess with them. I'm gonna trim them to make it, accommodate, so it's not hanging in my area, so I got an actual ease of building it. But other than that, I'm gonna stay far in my line. I think my property line actually splits those trees. Actually, I don't even think part of those trees are anybody's property. I think it splits between me and the neighbor. I think that's kind of
It's the town's,
private, yeah.
it's the town's property.
So I'm gonna stay inside the tree line and away from the tree line street side. It'll probably be
Yeah.
6 to 8 feet off the tree line.
You see it here, yeah, as long as it's not to the street. And then I also wanted to request or suggest that, there be some type of sign put on that road, because you can't see it in the image, but there's a hill right before his property, and a lot of people do come flying down it, and, I don't know if maybe you could put a sign, caution. I don't know if the children at play or something like that. Because although his kids are really small and constantly supervised, at some point they're going to get bigger and maybe want to play in the street, and people come down that hill pretty quickly.
Yeah, that would have to be.
Would that go through like the
Building
police department or something?
That'd be a police department.
Yeah.
Town.
That was just a suggestion.
Or even a speed bump.
What's that?
Even a speed bump.
Yeah. Something, well, we have a lot of potholes.
Well, there you go, you got natural speed bumps, there you go.
And then, that was it. So I'm in favor.
Thank you, Angie.
Thank you.
Have any other comments? Nobody online?
No.
No?
No.
Demonstrations are closed. Building department.
I guess, I know that the 6-foot fence for the front yard, I guess just seeing that it's going down the road, I know he's right next to that drainage easement. I'd like to see like 12 feet. I mean, I don't see any reason you can't go further south, I don't see,
I have no problem with that.
The side yard, but I think, keeping 12-foot back, I mean, I agree it's a unique piece of property.
12 foot off the road?
12-foot front yard setback, just to keep that vision triangle, just people, even him backing out his driveway with people coming down that hill, I just visualize 6 feet being awfully close,
Yeah, I was actually gonna question that. I was even considering, I don't know if this is allowed, but I was even considering going back 20 feet and using the front of the fence as parking.
You can come back up here.
I don't know if that's something I'm allowed to do.
Yeah,
I was thinking about going
that's cool, but I just, like I said, I don't wanna be, I like to look for your neighbor's driveway and your driveway backing out, like she said, you're coming down the hill and you're looking at a fence until you're almost out in the road, so I would like to just see that. But as far as going the other way, he could go all the way to his side yard, to that,
Well, he didn't want to do that.
but he didn't want to,
Yeah.
because there's trees in the way.
Yeah. In regards to the trees, yeah, I'm gonna stay off the tree line. I don't wanna dig with the roots anyway, I'm gonna try to avoid them as much as possible. I know I'm gonna hit them, but I know the closer I get to those trees, the more trouble it's gonna be getting those holes in.
Okay. That's it? Building department?
I think she wants.
Yeah, that's what, I think that if you can keep that front yard a little bigger, that'd be
I just
awesome.
wanted to say something.
Yeah, I have no problem going 12 minimum, or, minimum.
That would
Board
just be
members,
my
any
recommendation.
discussion?
Forward.
You're okay with well, stay up here.
Yes, sir.
You okay with 12-foot setback?
Yeah.
Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion, we grant the request for a 6-foot dog-eared fence in the southern part of the front yard and along the south side of the lot. As long as the front yard setback is 12-foot minimum.
For finding of facts.
For findings of fact.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Riley to approve, seconded by Mr. Hundley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Kapur?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're all set.
Thank you. Thank you.
Number 3, O'Donnell Homes. developmental variance, owner petition, Rhode Island Home, P.O. Box 717, Crown Point, Indiana, 46308, vicinity of 13557 Lakeside Boulevard, Cedar Lake, Indiana. Petitioner is requesting to build a home on a lot that is 11,029 square feet in total with a lot coverage totaling 30%. Name and address, please.
Michael O'Donnell, 812 White Hawk Drive, Crown Point.
Are legals in order?
Legals in order.
Thank you. Give us a quick rundown of what you want to do.
I'm looking to build a house on Lakeside that my percentage, I came up with like 20%, 27% coverage that exceeds the 25. I built a house a few doors down, a similar square footage with below the 30% square footage coverage.
This is in that section that's 54 homes or
Yeah, Lakeside subdivision.
whatever it is there.
And I have a contract, for a woman who's coming from Seattle that's looking to purchase the home.
All right, would you have a seat for a minute? I'll see if there's any administrators. Do I have any administrators for or against? Any administrators for or against? Nobody online?
No.
Your administrations are closed. You can step back up, sir. Building department, any concerns or questions?
It's again a 3-car garage and a covered patio, which pushes them to that little bit over. So
Yeah, typical over there, and
it's just like right there, like you said, it's
I think those problems will be solved the next time we do a subdivision, but,
yeah.
okay. Board members, any discussion? Then I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the request for to build a home on the lot that is 11,029 square feet in total with a lot coverage of 30% with the findings of fact.
Jim?
I second it.
A motion by Mr. Riley to approve, seconded by Jim. Mr. Hunley? Roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Kapar?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 4, 13153 Lakeshore Drive Industries LLC, developmental variance, owner petitioner 13153 Lakeshore Drive Industries LLC, 2848 Duluth Street, Highland, Indiana, 46322. Vicinity of 13153 Lakeshore Drive, Cedar Lake, Indiana. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to keep the existing covered porch 5 feet by 16 feet on the existing home with a front yard offset of 12 feet, the total lot coverage approximately 23.3%. Name and address for the record, please.
Seth Zubay, 2848 Duluth Street, Highland, Indiana, 46322.
Are legals in order?
Legals are in order.
Thank you. Give us a quick synopsis of what you want to do.
We purchased this property back in February, when we pulled building permits and did the town walkthrough with the inspecting team. They noted that the front porch cover hang was, built unpermitted by the previous owners. And due to it being less than 30 feet away from the road, we require a variance in order to keep it.
I'm trying to find it on here.
True story. Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, just for the this house, this porch is probably, I bet you 6 years old. It's been red tagged, 25 times over the last 6 years and keep saying that they were gonna come in for a permit and get this straightened out. The man ended up passing away, before he ever did get it done, and he purchased the house and is bringing everything up to par, but in order to, it's never officially been permitted. It can't be permitted without a variance, so here he is as a part of the process of renovating the house. He's putting a foundation under it, making all the repairs necessary, but it's a nice porch. It's been there quite a while.
I was gonna say, it's been there a while.
It's been there quite a while. There used to be a little front, 3x3 front porch that was pretty much the same distance out. They did a weekend warrior deal and put that up, and he's just here to make it right.
So that's just because when they put that porch on, they built that porch, they didn't permit.
Correct.
Right, so he needs a variance. Does he have to buy a permit then?
Well, he is, got a permit to do the foundation and renovate the whole house.
So it's all covered.
I would be, if he receives a variance for this porch tonight, I will be able to include that porch on his renovation permit, and it will then become legal.
Okay. Will you grab a chair real quick? I'll see if there's any remonstrators. We have any remonstrators for or against? There he is, remonstrators for or against? Nobody online?
No.
Remonstrations are closed. You can come back up, sir. So building department's all good with it? Board members?
I make a motion that we approve the, development variance for the porch, 5 foot, 16 foot on the existing home.
For finding the facts?
For the finding of facts.
Sure. Second. A motion by Mr. Hunley to approve, seconded by Mr. Riley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Jim?
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Carfaro?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Number 5. Vigneer, developmental variance. Is that correct?
Vigneri, but close enough.
Vigneri, close.
Okay, well, I'm not good at names. Prairie Oaks Holdings, 57 Michigan Avenue, Suite 101, Valparaiso, Indiana, 46383. Petitioner Stephen, 556 Northview Drive, Valparaiso, Indiana, 46385. Vicinity of 14407 Fairbanks Street, Cedar Lake, Indiana. This developmental variance is to allow the petitioner to build a home on a lot that is 5,000 square feet, 50 foot in width, 19 feet front yard, 20 feet rear yard, 37% lot coverage, 1,428 square foot building size, and 310 square foot attached garage. Name and, you already did that. Or did you give us a name? No,
I didn't, you read it, but you got everything correct.
Pardon?
You got everything correct. I do live at 556 Northview in Valparaiso, 46385.
Good. Are legals in order?
Legals in order.
Thank you. Just tell us what you want to do, please.
Well, I'll try to do a 60-second story, and I think that it sounds like I'm in a similar situation to the first party, so I'm glad to see not as many people sitting behind me anymore. But we bought a property back in, I believe it was 2021, and actually it was a hodgepodge shack at that time. We hired a contractor to, I mean, it was a post and beam construction, as you know, a lot of homes are in the area. We were going to go in and we hired a contractor to renovate the property, and long story short, he did so much damage that we had to tear down the property. He was stealing the neighbor's electricity. Like, it was a nightmare. He called me on a Saturday morning because he was trying to avoid permits and said, "Hey Steve, the house is creaking." Long story short, I go to the house, and the house is being held together by semi-straps. So then we made the fun journey through the condemned property board, committee, whatever it is.
Safe.
And unsafe buildings. And so at that point, we just, because it was a safety concern, we took it down. And at that point, we didn't realize that we had to apply for those permits within 6 months. So we would have had it within that time, but last winter, as the weather was going to break, we decided to wait until spring to actually build, which put us past that 6 months of tearing the property, or tearing the old structure down, and then applying for the new permit. So this is the new permit that we planned on doing last year, didn't realize there was that 6-month stipulation.
we've tried to keep everything within legacy lot requirements, and hopefully we have.
If, he would've done it within the 6 months, would he have to be here now? No.
I don't see a plan, I did see there's so many things on here. Cheryl, you gotta learn how to turn things the right way when you put them on here.
What are you looking for now?
Oh, no.
I'm like, everybody needs something like, I turn my iPad and the picture turns. and I'm like-
turn your screen though.
Yeah, but when I turn the iPad, the picture moves again. Like when she sticks them in the computer, I don't know, does that, how you scan
Well,
it?
it's how Terry's sending them, so that.
And it's weird because I tried to change the orientation
Cheryl,
to
mine's
do
first.
that, and then the computer.
Yeah,
What is mine? I don't know why they're.
Every one of these, like,
Okay,
I thought it was
we
Cheryl's fault.
grab a seat for a second, I'll see if there's any administrators. Doesn't
And
look like it.
actually, you can see it.
We have any administrators for or against?
Oh.
We have one. Name and address, please.
There should be a way to.
My name is Sean Leneve at 14409 Fairbanks Street. I'm just concerned about the size of the new structure, because the previous building was a small cottage, and it seems like the new proposal is 3 or 4 times the size of what was there before.
Well, they don't have to replace what was there, you know, in the same in kind. As long as it meets the requirements for, this is a legacy lot?
Yeah, this is a legacy, well, no, it's not.
No?
Is it?
Yeah, 5,000, but I mean, it's zoned R2.
I think a legacy lot.
Legacy lot, a legacy lot is only available to them where they didn't have to do a permit within 6 months, but you could ask for variances in an R2 zoning for that, and that's what we've done.
And what he's doing, his house he's putting on there, meets all the ordinance requirements?
Front and back setbacks are not R2, and they're greater than the legacy lot. Side yards are good, so there's not an issue with the side yard at all, even for an R2 zone. So.
But it does have to be looked at as R2 zoning, because a legacy lot is less than 5,000 square feet. Right?
I thought it was the criteria.
I thought it was the dumbest thing ever to say less than, but, because we have a lot of 50 by 100s, that's why I can remember it.
Okay. Because I thought 5,000 is right where it is the maximum. Here, it says 5,000 maximum.
Where does this thing come from?
That's right off the website.
Man, I could swear it said less than 5,000, but, okay.
I think that language got changed because of that less than language.
Less than.
Like last year, because if I remember correctly, we were going through this, and then it got switched in the middle of us working with it because
So,
of the multiple.
his complaint is, or his comment is that the house is a lot larger than what was there, but the house that's gonna be built is meeting all the requirements for the town requirements and ordinances to be built on that piece of property, correct?
That's.
With variances.
That's a
in
tricky
an R2,
question.
in an R2 district.
So basically, his lot size is less than required. His front yard setback is good? Yes?
For R2, it's much greater than,
His side yard setbacks are good.
yeah.
His rear yard setbacks good. Yeah, setbacks are good. I mean, he would still need approval to build on a lot of less than 10,000 square feet, just to be safe. He did put that in there.
Yeah, we put it in there. Yeah. It's all part of the,
But as far as the size, it is the setbacks, that you have to put a garage in, he's got the garage in there.
What are the front yard setback on R2?
it's 30 standard, but he meets the criteria of the legacy lot, and there's that template which gives them up to 10. Okay, and he's actually at 20, isn't he?
24.
Yeah,
Front yard is at 19.
19 on that,
Well,
on the one corner.
On the one corner. The
Yeah,
other
'cause
corner doesn't set.
They're not perfectly square.
Right, the other corner does not set.
What are the side yard requirements?
8.
8, and he's
So
above
he's
that.
Okay. Well, that was my own concern.
Yeah.
Thank you. You can step back up, sir.
I think you were the neighbor who got power stolen as well, so, I don't know if we've talked since then, but I'm sorry. Everything about that happening a couple years ago was a complete debacle, so I'm sorry about that, and try to make sure that while we're there, that we're a good neighbor and considerate that you're living there.
Thank you.
Okay, the administration report. So, building departments, no problems with this?
No, I mean, you're gonna give him, basically, his garage should be 400 square feet minimum, and he's asking for 310, so, for R2. I mean, this has to be looked at as a R2 lot, since you're going with the size of the lot, and it's up less than the 10,000. The front yard setback is 19 feet, the 20 rear foot setback, the 37% lot coverage, due to the size of the lot. I mean, that's why he's asking for the lot coverage, is because the lot's only 5,000 square feet, and then the garage, so with those, you should be okay. Height of this, I don't see a plan, an actual plan for the house, but it looks like it's just a ranch house. That 1428 met the size, this minimum size requirement.
I think that's why we're asking, no, because, what is it? On a R2?
1,500.
I'm sorry.
I just want them to understand.
And that's why they're asking for the variance for that size.
I just want them to understand what they're granting the variance for, that's all.
Right. R2.
Any discussion, board members, questions?
Yeah, 1,500 per single or bi-level. But that's what they're asking for the variance for because of the size of the lot, you know.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the developmental variance to allow the petitioner to build a home on a lot that is 5,000 square feet, 50 feet in width, 19 feet front yard setback, 20 feet rear yard setback, with 37% lot coverage. For a 1,428 square foot building size, and a 310 square foot attached garage with the findings of fact.
Motion by Mr. Riley to approve.
Second.
Second by Mr. Hunley. Roll call, please.
Mr. Riley?
Yes.
Mr. Hunley?
Yes.
Mr. Kapura?
Yes, motion carries 3-0. Thank you, sir. Public comment? Any public comment? We're going home early?
No, not early enough.
Public comment is closed. We're adjourned.